What if the real monster wasn't Lamia, but the gods who broke her? Greetings, seekers of the unseen. Welcome to Myth or Real, where we unravel the threads of legend to reveal the truths and terrors woven into the fabric of human imagination. I am your guide through these shadowed realms. Tonight, we descend into a tale of divine cruelty, maternal anguish, and the monstrous masks forced upon the broken. Our subject? Lamia, the serpent queen whose name once whispered fear into the hearts of ancient Greece, and whose story still chills us today. Before we begin, if you're new here, Myth or Real is a sanctuary for those who dare to ask, what if the monsters are not what they seem? What if myths are mirrors, reflecting our deepest fears and our darkest selves? Smash that like button if you crave these truths. Subscribe to join our fellowship of the curious, and let the algorithm of the ancients guide you back each week. Lamia, a name synonymous with child-devouring horror. But beneath the scales and the blood-stained jaws lies a story far more tragic and far more human than you've been told. This is not merely a myth of a monster. It is a parable of power, punishment, and the price of crossing the gods. The queen before the curse. Long before she became a nightmare, Lamia was royalty, daughter of Poseidon or Belus, king of Libya, depending on the telling. She ruled a kingdom where the Mediterranean winds carried whispers of her beauty and wisdom. Mortal, yet touched by the divine, she caught the eye of Zeus himself. Their affair was swift and secret, a god's fleeting passion. But when Hera, the vengeful queen of Olympus, discovered her husband's betrayal, she did not target Zeus. She turned her fury on Lamia. Here, the tragedy begins. Hera's punishment was meticulous, cruel, and deeply gendered. She slaughtered Lamia's children, all of them. Some versions claim she forced Lamia to devour them herself, twisting maternal love into cannibalistic horror. But the core truth remains. Lamia's womb, once a vessel of life, became a tomb. The descent into madness. Grief unhinged Lamia. She fled into the wilderness, her screams echoing through caves, her body contorting under the weight of sorrow. Hera, unsatisfied, cursed her further. You will never close your eyes. Lamia, never escape the sight of what you've lost. Some say the goddess gouged out Lamia's eyes, only for Zeus to replace them with supernatural ones, removable, glowing orbs that let her see the world but never rest. Others insist Hera cursed her with eternal insomnia, forcing her to relive her children's deaths in every waking moment. But madness birthed monstrosity. Lamia's form mutated, her legs fused into a serpent's tail, her fingers sharpened into claws. She began hunting, not for food, but for vengeance. She stole other mothers' children, devouring them in a futile attempt to fill the void left by her own. The Greeks spun her into a cautionary tale. Behave, or Lamia will come for you. Yet few paused to ask, who truly created the monster? The hidden truths. Modern retellings reduce Lamia to a bogeyman. But dig deeper, and her story grows stranger, richer. Libyan roots. Lamia may have originated as a Libyan serpent goddess, conflated with Greek myths during cultural exchanges. Her name, Limos, means throat in Greek, a nod to her devouring nature. Hecate's shadow. Some cults linked Lamia to Hecate, goddess of witchcraft. Lamia's serpentine form and nocturnal hunts mirrored Hecate's dominion over crossroads and ghosts. The eternal paradox. Later poets like Keats romanticized her as a tragic seductress, half woman, half beast, eternally torn between love and hunger. The legacy of Lamia. Lamia's myth evolved, but its core endured. Medieval Europe recast her as a succubus. Freudians reinterpreted her as male anxiety over female sexuality. Yet her true power lies in her duality. She is both predator and prey, a mother and a murderer. In a world quick to vilify monstrous women, Lamia forces us to ask, who decides what makes a monster? Lamia in cross-cultural shadows. Lamia's tale is not unique to Greece. Across the Mediterranean, similar figures emerge, women, twisted into monsters by patriarchal fears or divine pettiness. Consider Lilith, Adam's first wife in Jewish lore, who refused subjugation and became a demoness stealing infants. Or Rongda, the Balinese queen of witches, whose rage against betrayal mirrors Lamia's. These parallels ask, why do cultures reinvent the same monster? Is it a universal fear of female autonomy, or a shared guilt for how societies break women? Lamia's Libyan origins hint at this duality. Before Greece claimed her, she may have been a protector goddess of childbirth, her serpentine form symbolizing renewal, not terror. The Greeks, conquering and absorbing cultures, reframed her as a villain, a warning against foreignness and unchecked desire. Monsters, it seems, are often just gods we've forgotten how to worship. The eyes of the abyss. Let's dissect Lamia's most haunting trait, her removable eyes. In some fragments, Zeus grants her this grotesque gift to ease Hera's curse. By removing her eyes, she escapes the torment of witnessing her loss, but only temporarily. Imagine the horror. A mother forced to choose between perpetual grief or literal blindness. This detail is rarely highlighted, yet it's key to her tragedy. Unlike Medusa, whose gaze petrifies, Lamia's eyes internalize her suffering. They become relics of her humanity, tools of fleeting relief. Philosophers might argue this symbolizes society's demand that traumatized women remove their pain to function, to hollow themselves into palatable ghosts. Lamia and the Witch's Sabbath. By the Middle Ages, Lamia's myth warped further. Christian demonologists branded her a succubus, a seducer of men and devourer of souls. She joined Lilith in folklore as a night-prowling terror, a scapegoat for infant mortality and male lust. Yet even here, her story subverts, in Basque legends. Lamia is a beautiful river spirit offering gold to kind humans, punished only when greed corrupts them. This duality reveals her role as a mirror. When societies fear female power, she's a monster. When they acknowledge their own sins, she's a tragic teacher. Which version we see depends not on her, but on us. Nietzsche's Lamia, beyond good and evil. Friedrich Nietzsche once wrote, "Whoever fights monsters should see to it that, in the process, he does not become a monster." Lamia embodies this paradox. Zeus's lust, Hera's wrath, and Greece's misogyny created her, yet she's condemned as the sole villain. Is she evil, or a product of evil? Existentialists might argue Lamia represents absurd rebellion. Denied justice, denied death. She chooses chaos, devouring children not from hunger, but to force the world to acknowledge her pain. In a godless universe, her violence is a scream for meaning. Lamia in the modern labyrinth. Today, Lamia thrives in pop culture, but with a twist. In TV shows like Penny Dreadful, she's a tragic anti-heroine. On TikTok, feminists reclaim her as a symbol of maternal rage against systemic oppression. Even video games, Hades, Smite, cast her as a complex boss. Her serpentine form a blend of beauty and danger. These retellings matter. They ask, what if we stopped fearing monstrous women and started listening to them? What if Lamia's story isn't about her curse, but about our failure to heal her? The unanswerable question, who is the real monster? Let's confront the elephant in Olympus. Zeus's role in Lamia's fate is often glossed over. He seduces her, then abandons her to Hera's wrath. Why is he not held accountable? Because myths, like history, are written by the powerful. Lamia's story forces us to question divine justice. The gods punish her for Zeus's crime, pathologize her grief, and erase her autonomy. Sound familiar? It's the same pattern seen in victim-blaming cultures today. Lamia isn't the monster. She's the collateral damage of godly ego. If you're gripped by this descent into Lamia's labyrinth, smash like and ring that bell. Every notification is a torch against the darkness. Now, comment below, which god, goddess, or mortal would you put on trial for Lamia's fate? Zeus, Hera, or the society that demonized her? Let's debate. The Forgotten Lamias, Sisterhood of the Cursed. Few know that Lamia was not one woman, but a class of creatures in later Greek lore. These Lamiae were spectral beings haunting crossroads. Their namesake's legacy multiplied into a sisterhood of sorrow. Some accounts even claim they guided lost souls, their maternal instincts persisting beyond death. This pluralization diluted her individuality, turning a singular tragedy into a generic horror. Yet it also universalized her, proof that her pain resonates across generations. Redemption arc. Could Lamia have been saved? Imagine an alternate myth. What if the gods offered Lamia therapy instead of torment? What if Hera, instead of inflicting pain, recognized a fellow betrayed woman? Tragically, ancient myths rarely allow healing for women, but modern retellings can. In novelist Naomi Novik's A Deadly Education, Lamia is reimagined as a guardian of students, a mother figure reclaiming her purpose. This isn't just fiction, it's cultural catharsis. If this journey through Lamia's shattered psyche moved you, subscribe and join our next mythic trial, Medusa, victim or villain. And don't forget, comment your favorite mythological character. Warriors, demons, misunderstood queens. Your pick might star in our next video. Until then, stay brave in the dark. Myths are the whispers of the oppressed, the cries of those history erased. Lamia's voice echoes through millennia, asking not for fear, but for understanding. Who will we blame next time a woman breaks? Until next time, question the stories you're told. Farewell, and remember, even monsters deserve eulogies.